Good evening, guys. I really hope you guys can hear me. Um, Thanks for coming on to this live stream, checking this video out. Begin. On the last live stream, we were able to start the texturing fix of the project, and we were able to create some textures for the main building, and I think we are still on that right now. So first things, I would like to probably get a feedback, or how do I put it? Um, I'm going to try render a testing now, just to look at or to remember the stage we are and then where we are taking off from. So we'll just let that render for a while. Let's see how it goes. How are your weekends going? Because honestly, this weekend should actually be a very a very busy one for me. But I just had to take the time to, okay, let me, since I've started already, let me just take the time and do the live stream for today, because um, I have a presentation, I have a due to do by next week Wednesday, and I still have some drawings to do. So, but then we persevere. Maybe after this semester, yeah, of course, I'll have more time. Then I'll even be able to start targeted tutorials. I really hope I'll be able to engage with you guys more around that time. I really hope so. What is happening? I remember I excluded many of the objects. Didn't I save? What's happening? I could have done way more on this job. Now I'm surprised at what I'm saying. I saved. Okay. Let's see. Let me just check. Let me check this. This be the latest one. 7, 18. Will be this guy. Let me try opening the other one then. Don't save. Let's open this. Oh, la la la. Just give that a while to load. And as always, I have the link to my social media pages, my website, and my Discord channel. So in case you watch this video and then perhaps maybe this video helped you in some kind of way, or you need info about how to do some, or you have some issues during your work, you can always reach out to me there and then we discuss it out. I've not been so regular on Discord channel myself. Posting stuff, maybe links or tutorials I found online. I've not really had the time to source for that material online and send to the Discord channel. Like I said earlier, it's just because of my work. I've been a bit busy, so I'm just going to like I said, just hit me up there if you have any issues with your work or something. Just hit me up there. Down to help you go through it and let's see what could be done. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is what we worked on the last time. Honestly, I'm a bit confused because I had two versions of these files. The one I'm working on for the client, so that in case I want to go forward and get it done, then we probably will have another version or something. But then for the live stream, I always had it dance it also live stream, and then that's if it also original or something. And I don't know, the one for the live stream, I remember we textured some part of it last on the last live stream, but then what I'm seeing now is so different. I'm surprised. And then I'm just going to continue with the original. This I can see we are on the same page, with the original file and the live stream file. So I'll just continue with this and probably overwrite the one for the live stream. I hope this one works this time around. Okay. I think this, maybe I probably auto save or saved it on the file for the live stream. Yeah, this is one we're working on. So we'll just continue on this. And while working on the last live stream, I mainly use this camera. Let me try switching to the other camera to at least see what we have. Okay, not bad on this camera as well. Hey, cool. Excited about this. It's just something like that. I'm going to test share this building. I think the ones I just adjusted in, they're good for buildings and they are already looking okay to me. So I'm just going to adjust for this guy as well. Now, for this other build, let me just stop this so that we can talk. This is it. So for this guy right here, this white part, I think I would love to use concrete material for this. Love to use concrete material for this. I'm just going to open that selection. Okay. It's what I'm seeing right now. Let's see. Okay. 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 Let me just do this quick. I want to select because from what I'm seeing, this guy right here should be metal. Guy right here should be metal. With the median should be metal. Then this guy should be concrete. That's what I'm going for. So then with what I'm seeing now, the concrete and the metal or the metal material I have in mind, they are both they are one object. So what I'm going to try to do now is I could select the concrete and detach, but then once I detach, because this object is an instance object, if I make the mistake of detaching, okay, maybe after selecting detach this material, if I make the mistake of detaching this material, it's going to disappear. Like this part, this area, or the selection I'm detaching on this object will disappear. It's going to disappear from the other instances of this building. So to prevent that, I'm going to go with a different method. If you come to this side, I'm going to introduce you guys to multi-material objects. Okay, so the way multi-material objects works is that this set ID, I don't know if you notice it. Okay, I think this whole object have the same ID, and the reason why it has the same ID is because they are the same material is applied to this and this as well. So multi-material works with IDs. Like this is what I mean. Let me show you. Materials general multi-sub-object. Sorry. Now this number, you can have infinite number of multi-sub-objects on that. You can have infinite number of materials attached to multi-sub-objects. So since this object is shown, let me just select that and isolate. If I select this now, if I select this material, if I sample the material of this selection, what will most likely be seen, what will most likely show up is a multi-sub object. Now let me just show you that works. Yep. So there you go. This is what we have. This is what we have. Okay. Now, from what I can see, it shows that this whole material with one object is just even though they may be like when you go to element, there may be different elements, but then everything is just one model, and we have two materials attached to this. Okay, now look at this. We have two materials under the multi-sub object. So now when I click on this object and I select the elements tab, now look at this. When I select the dark material, you can see the set ID is 1. It means any material attached to 1 on this area, that will be what will be attached. That is what is going to be applied to any geometry with the set ID of 1. If you look at this guy, the set ID is 2, and this is the material attached to it. So I'm going to try and do something. Let me do it from scratch. Let's just use some normal corner material to get that away. I can delete this guy. Let me see what's this material. Maybe it will be useful later. Okay, cool. This should be useful. I'm not going to delete it off. I'm going to make a copy and then delete the implement. So we are just going to try to texture this from scratch. Maybe when I do that, you guys will be able to get a better understanding of what I'm trying to say. Like I said earlier, this object has 2 set IDs, 1 and 2. You can attach more. I could select this and say, okay, instead of it being 1, I want it to be number 3. Now it means that if I create a multi-sub material, just do that. So multi-sub object. Now if I'm saying let's say I'm putting 2, I want 2 slots for materials. If I attach 2 slots of materials to this building right now, automatically it's going to show as dark. That's because we don't have any material attached to any of the slots. So let's say on my on material objects, on material ID 1, I want to have metal materials. This guy has material ID 1. I turned this on to material ID 3. I'm just going to use it to show you an example. Then this one's a material ID 2. Okay. So if I'm creating to simulate very good metals, you need a high Fresnel value. Alright, after my presentation and everything, I will be taking you guys on targeted tutorials, which of course we have to decide together, maybe through a poll or something, just to know what you guys will be interested to see on this channel. We could put it to a vote. Okay, so if I'm attaching this to material 1, let me change the color a bit so you can see what's okay. Now can you guys see this? So can you see this? Now the reason why we have this purple showing up on this area and not the others is because these areas where it's showing up right now have material ID 1. Let me put this onto you. Okay, so as I stated earlier, right, multi-sub object works with material IDs. Now this material, the purple material, will only show on this part of the object because it has the set ID as 1, the material ID as 1. If I were to put this same object So let's see. Let me select that. Select it. Now, if I'm putting this same purple object into number 2 slot, this object will inherit that material because its own set ID is 2. I really hope you guys get it. Now, if I change the value to 3 now, you will find out that okay, see, we don't have anything attached on that anymore. So that's the way material subjects work, and it's you only use material subjects or material multi sub objects if you have one geometry and you don't want to detach them, you don't want to separate them. Yes, I'm sure there's instances where this will come in handy. Yeah, like I explained earlier, this building right here, this I have instances of it on the scene. Now, this is I'm going to show you guys now the reason why I did not detach that. So let's say I have this. Let's say I have this box. Let's say I have 2 instances of this right here. Then on one of the boxes, I'm adding, let's say, the edit poly, right? Edit poly. Okay. So with the way instances work, it means any change I'm making to one object will affect other objects. Okay. Cool. Now let's see. Let me try in new object. So let's say I'm picking this object, I'm using the attach button and attach it. Once I click attach, what I'm attaching will appear on the other instances right there. Now let's say I want to texture this. I want this to have a different material. I want this to have a different material, but then they are one geometry. They are not separated. Because they are instances, if I were to say, okay, let me click this and detach, okay, now that's where it shouldn't be that way. Or better, okay. I think I know what happened. Okay, wait, I think I got what happened. I guess what happened. I get what happened. If I were to select this guy right here and click the detach button. Now what happened then there was because I had this detach as clone selected. Now detach as clone will just create a clone of this object I'm selecting right there. Like I said, all these things have their various applications. Now, without selecting any of these, which would be the default, like when you click this on detach, you won't have any of this checked. This is the default, the default option you'll be seeing. If I click OK, that object is going to detach on this material, but then it's going to disappear on the other two. I hope you guys get me now. It's going to disappear on the other two. Now, this is what I was trying to avoid for the building, because this building is an instance. So if I were to detach this from this geometry, it's going to disappear on every other instance in the scene, and I don't want that. What happened earlier? Let me just explain what happened earlier when it seemed like it didn't work. This guy right here, I was detaching it as a clone. So let me select that again just to show you what I mean. And if I say detach as clone, select and OK. Now this object won't disappear from the others. Why? Because I did not explicitly tell it to detach the original object from this. I already said it should make a clone of that selection, and that this is what we have. As you can see, we have a separate clone, and then we have this. Now I can't use this technique for this building yet. I can't use this technique for this building, because if I use that technique for this building, because I want to just adjust one of these displays on this view, if I use that for this building, I'm going to have overlapping faces. There will be facing and like two faces in one place, and we don't want that as well. So that's why I'm using multi sub object. So you guys just take notes. Sometimes it might be working, and that could probably give you some issue. Mr. Faith, good evening. Thanks for coming on the live stream. So I'm just going to continue. So like I stated earlier, I think I'm okay with having this guy here as concrete, and every other of this any other objects in this selection metal. So I already have this guy. Since I'm thinking of two materials alone, I'm thinking of using just 2 slots. Yeah, just 2 slots. And then let me take this guy off from here. Let's give this guy his metal back. This way, and exactly. I think this guy has another separate. Let's just drop it back to 1 so that it can have that metal material sent to it. Then we want to have just have some. So, and then we want to have this other guy here. We want to have this other guy here as concrete. Now I don't need to select before I can make it work. Okay. Let's see. What can I do? Select all this. Select this guy. Yeah. So as I said earlier, I want this guy, the rods coming out here. I want them to show us some metal. I'm just going to select all this. Thanks, Abdul Malik. So that's just the way it works. So if you guys need more explanation, or you need me to go over it again, you just let me know. Just give the word. I'll be happy to explain. So I'm just going to select. Yeah. So I want these guys to be metal. I'm just going to give it the value 1 so that they can take the metal material as well. Then I'm just going to go over here and create the concrete material. I said I won't be going into unless necessary. I won't be going into probably creating textures of my own or something, or creating materials of my own. We already have some pretty good materials, like now. So I'll be using that for most part of the project, unless absolutely necessary. We will be creating a material. Like I said, after the semester ends and I'm free, I have some time on my hands, I can do targeted tutorials whereby okay, we discuss how to make materials in case you don't have or you don't want to go, or you don't want to use the Corona material or the Corona material library. So just going to slot this guy here into number 2. Okay, and let me select these guys, have it as 2. Out of that, we have the concrete on that part and metal on the other part. One thing I would like you to take note of is, since this is one geometry, even though we don't have any UV map on it right now, you use UV maps to drag your textures, you use UV map to scale, probably rotate and place your textures correctly. Now this is one geometry, so even though it's one geometry, it has different objects in it. And if we are to look at our materials, we have bitmaps. We have bitmaps on the 2 materials we're using for this geometry. Now, a UV map that would be sufficient or perfect for this depth texture we're using for our metal will probably look too small or warped for the concrete texture. So there's a way to go around this. So one thing you want to do, there's something called map channel. Like every bitmap has this function. Now the map channel for every bitmap, the default map channel attached to every bitmap is map channel 1. You can find it here, map channel 1. So like I said, okay, let me just show you what I mean. Okay, let me see how this map looks visible. Cool. Now sometimes it might work that one UV map will work for different maps. Probably when you apply it, they both look good. But then there are sometimes that it does not work that way. So now let me make this guy visible on this. Now there is one other way, or one other feature that helps you in your work. So let's say you, like right now, this guy is not in our diffuse. We are just using it for reflective glossiness, just to give some imperfections to the surface. Now if we don't do it this way, if we are not checking through shaded material in viewport, we won't know how this texture looks on the metal material. So that's the reason why I switched this on. You can always switch it off as well. If you switch it off, it's going to just take all the whatever is in the diffuse color. If it's a bitmap that is in the diffuse color, it's going to take the color of the diffuse. It's going to take the bitmap in the diffuse color, and then if you don't have any bitmap in your diffuse slot, it's going to make use of the color. So that's why I'm seeing a total black right here. So just to know how this bitmap is applied to the geometry or to the object, you have to check this. Like you select the bitmap, then you ask it to show shaded material in viewport. Now this bitmap is going to show up on every element that has the metal applied to it. As you can see, we don't have it showing right here. We don't have that the bitmap for the metal. We don't have it showing on the concrete. So now if I were to select maybe one of these and ask it as well to show shaded material. Okay, let me explain this. You can see we have show on concrete floor beer, and then we have show on multi-sub objects. It's just referring to the hierarchy. Here, this is the concrete object, and then this is the multi-sub. The concrete material is let me use the word, it's a slave of the multi-sub object. Okay, so we want it to show on the multi-sub object because that's what we applied to our object itself. We did not apply this, we didn't click this and say we didn't click this and say apply, we click this. So this is what is important. This is what we have to select that, okay, show on the multi-sub object. So if I'm selecting this and it's asking me where do I want to show it, I'm going to select show on multi-sub objects. This. Now, one thing I would like you guys to know, when working or when applying texture from the Corona material library, when applying texture from the Corona material library, all materials on Corona material library, once you select UVW map, and most of the time I use boss. If you have any objects that has depth, width and height, boss, most of the time box, the box mode is the best approach to for the UV mapping. Now you select boss. Now it's going to ask you, the texture will be wrapped, definitely texture will be wrapped. So you may want to put, I like using the same value for these three parameters. So let's say I'm going with 20,000, 10,000 here as well, 10,000 here. Now it looks, I can see some obvious tiling here. The tiling should not disturb us so much because this guy is just showing on the reflective glossiness channel or the slot. But then we could still do better. You know. What I'm doing right now is I don't want to keep changing values and just looking at it by eye. I could always click this arrow, go to the gizmo. Now with the gizmo, you can rotate this texture, you can scale it, you can move it, just like you would do that for normal objects. So I want this object to be bigger. I want the bitmap to be bigger. So I'm just going to select that, and now if you can see, it's not going to affect this value, is not going to change. So I think in a way we don't have so much of that tile. We don't have so much of that tile in the scene right now. Okay. Now we've been able to scale the bitmap. We've been able to scale the bitmap for the metal material, but then even though we've asked the bitmap for the concrete material to show on the multi-sub object, we are not seeing it. You wonder why? It's because Corona material, like textures from the Corona material library, I don't know why they made it that way. If you were to select box and put in values, you most likely not see it. It will just be colors until you select real world map size sometimes before it works. I have no idea why that is. Now it messed this up when I tried putting it like that. Okay. Just give me a moment with this. Okay. Now, since you have two different map channels and what works for one map channel might not work for the other map channel, so what we want to do is we want to select the map channel for the concrete. Now instead of 1, we want to give it another value. So now make sure you do that for heavy for all the bitmaps attached to that material. So as you can see, I'm not changing just this alone and say okay, I'm done. I'm selecting all the bitmaps attached. Now I have all these guys shown as too. So what I want to do now is to create a new UV map. Yeah, it's going to show work for this. It's just being naughty because this map channel, this UV map is not for the material, it's not for the metal, it's for the concrete. So what we want to do is, the reason why the UV map is affecting the metal right now is because we still have our map channel as 1. Once I change it to 2, this UV map now is going to work for any bitmap. I'm sorry, this UV map is going to work for any bitmap with the map channel 2. So now I can adjust the texture for the concrete without having it affect the metal. So as I was saying earlier, any bitmap you are taking from Corona Material Library, you need to have real world map size switched on for it most of the time. Now the texture is probably too big right now, that's why we are not seeing anything. So let's try scaling down. Yeah, once you do that, you won't be able to adjust this value as well. I have no idea why that is. So we select this one. Let's try to reduce. Okay, now I don't think anything is happening. I don't think anything is happening. Okay, you run into these issues sometimes. Let me try doing the tiling. Okay. I think we are going to see something. Okay. Now, should in case you select you apply the material from Corona Material Library and you select the real world map size, but then it's still not showing, it might mean you will need to unselect this real world map size and instead probably do the because the UV map automatically adjust the length of the size of the texture to the size of the geometry. So that's why we have these high values here. So, and then the default size for this one was 2000. So that's why I just said, okay, let me try 20. You have to do that for the 3 bitmap as well, because if you don't do that, you might have probably bad reflections or bad bumps. So after doing that, you can now come to this place as well, have something for them. Yeah, so many ways to navigate these doors. So I think we just by the time we are doing targeted tutorials, we just go into everything and how it works. Now this thing might look like it took so long, but then it's because I'm explaining and we took some details. If I were working on a project and I have to do this, it does not take so long. So you guys don't be discouraged. It's all part of the work. So we are done showing that, and we can end isolate. Now automatically, this building we worked on, this building behind is an instance of the one we worked on. Now you can see we have all that on the instances. Now if we had gone with the decision to detach this because we want to apply the concrete to this and have metal on this, if we had detached this, we'll most likely have this area, it would have disappeared on this model by now. Okay. In case you don't believe me, let me just try that since we have the Ctrl Z, right? So I'm selecting this and I'm going to the UV the deep poly. I'm selecting this and once I press the dash, okay, see, we would have been faced with this issue right now, and we don't want that. So that's why we have to go through all that. So and once we are done with that, like I explained when I was starting this project, that I will only be using the grass. I will only be scattering grass models on the foreground. Every other part of the project will only have a grass texture attached or applied to them. So I'm just going to use I'm just going to create a grass material, nothing fancy. So material, and I think I have some grass textures I've used in some projects before. We have to be careful of the sizes of our textures as well. So if you probably have something that is not so high poly or something, by high poly I mean not 4K, more around the size of 2K and just perfect. You don't need to take it too high. Yes, you don't need to take it too high just to have something, because like I said, this they are far away. We won't even be seeing, if we were to scatter grass models on everywhere, we won't even be seeing the blades of the grass on that far area. So why should we have to go through all that stress for not? So I'm just going to look for ground map, and I have this guy writing. I don't know, it's looking good. Would it be perfect? Let's see, maybe we have others. Let me see this guy. I have can you to go? Just go with this guy. Cool. So yeah, some of the libraries maybe this guy will work fine. Okay, this guy is perfect. I don't want something looking so good. But this guy. Okay, I'll go with this guy. Photo grass going. Ground grass going. Like I said, we don't need it to be high poly, because even the 2K, it's already 3.91 MB already. If we were to go for the 4K, we don't want insane when that time, because all these things matter. Now for 4K we have it as 17 MB. It's just an unnecessary overkill. I really hope there's a way to bring in multiple bitmaps at once. So I'm going to take for the diffuse. That's what I mean. I don't need for displacement. I don't need displacement is going to take a while. I'm going to take for the A hole. Now this symbol, it works. The way it works is let's see what you are trying to go for. Yes. Bless Aka. Thanks a lot, guy. Thanks a lot for coming and blessing. I appreciate it. Okay, so let's say for example I'm trying to go for a super realistic ground. I will probably be adding displacement. I don't displacement in this. I just need the diffuse, the payhole, the normal map, and probably the gloss map. So I'm just going to load all that in. Okay, what's happening? We have different so we have our normal map. Okay. Now, normal map is badass. I will explain to you why I said so. Now, in the Archviz industry, we might not really see the work of normal maps that much. If you know much about game development, you will understand how normal maps works. Some of the games we play, some of those details we see, and then it looks like okay, maybe there's a crack in the wall, or maybe brick wall and stuff, or even sci-fi, or maybe um you have sci-fi elements on the wall or something. Some of those elements are just one plane, and the old extrusion and what else has been driven by the normal map. Now, normal map is different from bump map. Bump map is usually grayscale, but then you have normal map looking this way. It holds more information, more IT information, and then displacement is like if I were to rate them, I would say okay, normal bump map, don't grayscale map. Then if you want more detail, normal map. Then if you now want higher details, displacement map. Yeah, I'll arrange them in that order. So in a way, there's a way you can use normal and bump map together. You can always use that to drive a very realistic work. So I'm just going to use other technique. So for the bump, I'm loading the bump as well, just to show you guys how it works. And one more, yeah, that's the glossness map. Okay. Let's close this guy here. Open. Let's speak. So we are going to attach this. Now you see how it looks, and then you see the work of the hero map. Just like in Photoshop, this composite map works the same way layers in Photoshop works. Yet it has the same, more or less. I don't know if the exact number, or if it has more, or it has less than Photoshop mix modes. Let me use that word, mix mode, because we use all these modes to mix probably two textures or something together. So let's say for example you want to maybe for example you have a texture, of a marble floor, but then on that marble floor you want it to have grouts. You want it to have grouts like tiles, laid tiles. You want that, but then instead of taking that marble texture to Photoshop and then probably trying to draw the grid, you can always load in your marble texture in, add the tiles modifier, and then mix both with this composite material. If you have the understanding of Photoshop, mix modes or something, you understand composite material better. Thanks a lot for coming on the stream again. You've been banned from day one. Thanks a lot. So we only have one layer right now. We're just going to add another layer because we want to attach two bitmaps on this and then use that in our diffuse color. I'm just going to put this in layer one. The reason I'm putting this in layer one is because this will be the base layer, and then this is what we're adding to it. This guy is mostly bright spots and then just some dark spots. In a way, it helps you drive the contrast of the texture more. If I were to add this and put on layer 2, we will be seeing the composite material as just plain white. So you have to click this and use various mix modes. I think for now the multiply mode works best for the scenario. I'm just going to select that now. When I select that, and now when I had this diffuse, I don't know, I hope you guys just keep your eye on mostly those brown patches on that area. You see that they tend to get darker. So if I'm putting this in, it's got darker a bit. I don't know if you guys notice that. Then I'm just going to put this in my reflection dustiness. So just have a bit more reflection. Can try brightening the glossiness map a bit. Okay, I think that's cool. Then now for the bump map, to use normal map, you can't just drag set and drop it on the bump in the bump slot. You have to create a now normal material. I think for V-Ray 2, you see it as very normal. So you slot this in normal, and then for the additional bump, you slot this in as well. Now, like I said, in CG, there are various applications to various things. Now, let's say, for example, I want to use two bumps in this. Maybe I want this bump to be a bump of something, and then if I want normal to be to drive the bump in a way, then I want to add another extra bump, something different. I can have that kind of texture. Let me just, instead of talking, let me just show you. Let me just show you an example. I'm bringing this map. Just okay. So let's see, for example, okay, let me apply it. So yeah, after putting your normal map in the corner normal material or the normal material, always have this checked, add gamma to input, because I think after some version 2ds Max started using linear workflow as the default. I think in previous versions you had to do some settings to get your 2ds Max in linear workflow. When I started, that gave me a lot of headache. I wouldn't want you guys to worry so much about it, because I believe most of you guys, maybe from 2015 upward, most of you guys have 2ds Max 2015 upward, so you won't have that issue. So you click on add gamma to input. Once you click that, you see it becomes a bit like when it's off. Now this is why you always have to do that. If I attach this, now you can see this. I don't know why it does this. You can see the way it is right now, but then once I add gamma to input, Now we are going to have the correct thing going right now. Like I said, this additional bump, you let's say for example I'm adding something else. Now we're having two different kind of bumps here. Yet this one is driving the flow of the grass. It's adding that how do I put it? Is making the grass look like grass, and then this one is giving it the geometric shape that is in the texture. So there is just not one way to use all these materials or all these maps in 3ds Max or in Archviz. You just have to know what you want to do, and then know the appropriate tool to use for that. I think that's what works for most softwares. So let's just take this back. And well, we have our floor material. So let's apply that. I'm going to apply this, and then I'm going to add the UV map. So you want to scale this down. You can scale it to this value here, but then I want to faster with it and stuff. I think this is okay. Now, one thing I would like to point out, or one detail I would like to take, is when you're working on a project, right, and you have these vivid colors in your scene, you end up seeing, we call it color bleeding. Like if I have a flaw in visualization, I don't know if you guys have noticed it. Okay, maybe you have maybe you apply the floor texture, to your room, and then after applying the floor texture to the room, your white wall starts looking a bit it starts having this yellowish tone or something. Now that is color bleeding, and the way you can fix that so that you can have correct white and then still have that nice floor you want is by using this material called Corona Switch material. I think on Vue, I'm trying to remember what the name is on Vue. I'm trying to remember what the name is on Vue. I'm trying to remember. Oh, why is it a building? Let me try to see if I can get it. Equivalent. Corona Switch material. Vue. Or is it Vue override? Well, I just save this out. I have Vue nice thing. What is it? I think it's very overhead material or something. I think that's it. So let's just go on. Now, the reason why that is happening, the reason why we have color bleeding is because on your global illumination, by global illumination, it's a complex term, but then I'll try to explain it as best as I can. Global illumination is just a light bounce in the scene. Yet, I think we have that parameter in Corona as well. and then we have it in V as well, global illumination. Which are has a value. So let's say for example I'm putting a sphere light in a dark room, and I have a very low global illumination. That sphere of light will only be bounced, like the light coming from the sphere will only bounce around the scene is like in a small number of time, like it's just going to bounce or in a small number of time. But then if I have the global illumination increased, that small light source may actually bring in more light to the scene. Now, because light is bouncing on that vivid material you have in your scene, maybe wood or anything, maybe anything could cause color bleeding. So because light is bouncing on that vivid material, it's going to the light is not going to be the pure color coming from, or the pure temperature coming from the light. Instead, it's going to, in a way, should I say in a way, it's taking some of the color from the floor is bouncing on, and then it's bouncing that colored light on your walls. I don't know if that makes sense, if I was able to explain that right. So to prevent that, you want to have a different, maybe preferably a grayscale material in your global illumination. So you put this is the way to use the coronary switch material. You put this in your direct override, reflection override, and fashion override. You create a new corona material. You don't need to change any parameter because this is just grayscale, and then you put that in your global illumination. Now it means when light bounces, let's say for example this grass now, the grass texture, when light bounces on this grass texture, instead of that light taking some of the green color from this texture and bouncing it off, it is instead you take this grayscale material, and neutral gray won't have any effect. It won't change the color of anything on your scene. So that's a workaround. Now after doing that, because we have applied the corona material before on this, we will need to select that display again and apply the corona switch material. Yeah, it will show up as gray, but then you can always select this just to see your texture back. So yeah. Now let's exclude floor, the ground, and make it render just to see what it looks like. Give that some time to load up. Let's see. The red material. Is that it? Yeah. View varied material. That is the name. So let's see if these guys were able to make able to do justice to explaining how it works. Okay. But clicking on that was supposed to take me to the article or something. Just taking me to the end. Okay, I don't know if maybe I should just use this picture to explain. Now, as you can see, we have it's most likely that the wall in this scene is white, but then because we have this purple floor, is bleeding on the white texture, and because it's bleeding on the white texture, you have your walls showing up as purple. Now if you were to apply UV override or corona ray switch material on this floor, you will have the purple, okay, and then you have your white wall interfered with. Okay, cool, not bad, it's looking good. Okay, cool, I like what I'm seeing. It has the nice shade I'm trying to go for. That's it. Okay, now we can let me see how it looks on the second camera, because that one has more, it shows more of the classic. Perfect. It's not showing right now because we have our glass, so I think I'll do the road next. So for the road as well, I could remember the first time I was going to do road or something. I was going through this long method of, okay, because I was eager to learn what UV unwrapping was all about. So I was thinking, oh, maybe when I select the road, UV unwrap it, put in the textures in Photoshop and whatnot, and then when it was just so stressful. And UV unwrapping is no easy thing. Like UV unwrapping is different from UV mapping. UV mapping is straightforward, but UV unwrapping it's like you have a box and then you are unwrapping that box. You don't want it to be a box anymore. You want to make it 2D and then paint the texture on it and then wrap it back. It's complex in a way. It's complex. So what I now found out is that I can just apply an asphalt material on the road, and then for the road markings use planes. I could use planes for the road markings. I could use other techniques for the road markings, and it's just going to be straightforward and easier to do rather. So I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to work on that right now. So I'm just going to apply asphalt on this guy without, I'm not even going to think of just plain asphalt, bump and whatnot on this. Let me go to my map. I think I have some asphalt on this guy here. Do I have it? City Street. Just need a plain asphalt. Okay. I just need a plain asphalt road. Position has markings. I don't need to have markings. With asphalt. Cool. Make it a bit dirty. Deserts. I think I'm just going to go with this guy. Just going to go with this guy. I don't need it one or something. We are not even seeing so much of the road to pay so much attention to that. So, that's right. Six. Okay. No, I don't think I can use it. I don't think I can use it. It's just not. It's I need an asphalt texture that don't have this, because our road is not just a straight line. I always understand it. We have a complex road network here. If I were to use that texture, if I were to use this texture, that has this ends for this, I'm going to end up with probably some of those texture will just move. It's not going to look great. It's not going to look great. So yeah, I'm trying to look for just plain texture. I think I can download some somewhere. Go, yeah, on my Discord channel. All this website I'm going to, the website I go to for free textures, the one I go to for backgrounds, I have all those links on my Discord channel. You will find the link to my Discord channel in the description. So please join up, guys. You will find all this information right there, so that you can get free models as well. The good stuff. Trying to see. I'm dead. What could it be? Yeah. That's right. I think I grouped this one. Yeah. 13 MB. That's too much. I don't need it to be that much. Okay. I could bring it in, then reduce the texture. But I could try that. I have another asphalt material that's not as heavy. 15 MB. Come on. Let's go with guy 13 MB. So as before, I'm going to bring in the diffuse, the halo, the normal map, and then the glossiness map. Now sometimes they won't write it as glossiness, but when you see this RGH, just know they mean it to be glossiness. Now for this map, when they were creating this texture, they did not create a separate bump map, and I don't think we need it anyway. So let's just bring these guys in. I think for a while I just noticed it now. My work has not been auto saving. I had to switch it off when I was working on one project. I think yesterday. I just needed it to work or render for a long while without auto saving, because the file was so heavy, so I switched it off. So let's have that back on, and let's save. We're on the safe side. I think I'm just going to drop the Discord channel. I don't have much on the Discord channel right now. I don't have much, but then imagery. And yeah, all these links right here. Links to download free models, um, textures, everything, 3D textures, many of the great textures that you find, you will be able to find them. So I have all these links for you guys to check out. So kindly join the Discord channel, guys. Like I said, I don't have much showing on it right now, and it's just because I've been a bit busy. The whole semester is taking it too long, so when the semester ends, maybe it's going to be lively. Okay, this guy's still saving. Let's see. We have new tutorials here. Open to the showcases. It's so long I uploaded on this site. I just like coming to the site, check out what people are working on, look at people's works, people's work and stuff. So I just use that to pass time while damn. Hey, I'm seeing this and I just can't tell but just be so impressed. Like I saw that image and damn, this looks so beautiful, for God's sake. How are they doing it? How? Color, honestly, color theory is very, very important. Color theory is very, very important. You know what color goes with what color, and have all that together to achieve something nice. This guy really, it's still saving. Oh my. When we repeat is good. Damn. I always love an atmospheric render. Though renders with fogs and everything is just looking a bit moody, stuff like that. Always looks great. I think I've checked this guy before. This guy's taking forever. It seems to be punishing me for working for so long, not saving. That's what's happening. Fantastic. Come on. Hi. Omega render. These guys are good. Good. Go see their website. I stumbled upon their website one day and I was so impressed. So impressed. Look at these guys. Just look at these guys. Look at these sweet surrenders. Definitely some photo montage going on here. Definitely some photo montage. This could be the rendered elements. Oh my. This is another favorite of their work. I love this image. Diverse vegetation is just something cool to look at. Love this too. This is my definition of simple and sweet. My. Okay. Now I really hope don't see. Oh God. What's happening? Come on. Then another great Archviz company is India.no. These guys are masters as well. Yeah, masters to the point where it gets to a point you won't know what is rendered and what is probably already existing. No, I don't understand what is happening here. Well, I'm sure they are an Archviz studio. Now I'm not sure if what they're trying to show here now is that this is an architectural project they worked on. Because I don't want to believe this render. Because that would be too much. Like, look at that way. This has to be probably maybe they're trying to show their architectural project. Definitely render. And all these are renders. These guys are good. Yeah, the Zen Garden. Definitely render. Looks so great, but then I won't say the realism is over the top. I don't think you have something looking this vivid in real life, but it definitely looks good. This guy should be done. Oh no. I can't take this no more. Come on. What are you punishing me for? This is favorite as well. So sweet. Momore. Yeah, this one looks like a section. It's a very great idea for a section, I know. Look at that. I think that's the end. Finally, at last. Yeah, good. Okay. Let's come. So that's just like before. Convert my flow. Have a new layer. And take this guy up so that you guys can see the difference. Now look at that. So once I had this, I'm going to show us right there. Once I shim these two, okay. Now we have better definitions. Okay. Now we may reduce, so we will probably try another light a little bit. Now we can always reduce the value if we don't want it to like that. Let's try to reduce the brightness of the main mask texture. The reason why I'm thinking of doing that is because we have a sunny scene, right? If we were to use the asphalt the way it is straight up, it might turn out with an asphalt that looks almost white. Then this guy is too much, it's too bright. The brighter the reflective glossiness, the more glossy or the glossier is going to look. Very correct word. Glossier is going to look. So now it's looking too glossy right now. We want to reduce that. Like this bigger corner. if I'm raising the top, I'm brightening it. I'm reducing, taking this way, I'm darkening the texture. So this guy should adjust. Yes. Still want a little bit of glossiness, just a tiny little bit. Okay, I think we have a pretty good asphalt texture. So now we are going to apply that on the road. If it's really like that. It's small. Something that if we were, yeah, I think this is pretty okay for, let's say, okay, let's even say we are going to have close up on that. It's okay, like this styling is okay for it. So, but then because we are not doing close up renders and our asphalt texture is our asphalt or our wood is so far away that we don't need to see, it's not like we're seeing it up close. So we can, there's this plugin that I bought. I don't know if you, I don't know how long the tutorial is going to work for if we were to use the servers. But then this fuzzy textures has saved me a lot. Yet I've had scenes with heavy textures, and with this plugin I was able to use the size of that texture. It's going to take long if I were to say, okay, I'm taking that 4K texture to Photoshop to resize as 2K. It's going to take longer time to do that. So what I'm going to do is I want to reduce this texture. I'm going to put 2K. I want my 2K value to still at least be 100% JPEG quality. Then selected object, I don't want it to fuzz the textures for all my scene. If I want it to do it for all the scenes, all I just have to do is select all scene and then do that. Then there are some other options here. You can choose the folder you want. You can choose the folder you want the process you are creating. You can create the texture you want it to be saved in. You can create a folder for it, because when you make fuzzy, it's trying to create a smaller version of that fuzzy somewhere. So it's going to keep, it needs a folder to keep that smaller version in. Now you can have it so that you use the smaller or the lesser resolution bitmaps for your preview. Maybe you want to make test renders, and then maybe when you now want to make full resolution renders, you can have it use original render. It means at the point of render time, it should replace the smaller textures with the originals that it was it. So that's, but then I just wanted to resize the texture and use the resized texture. I don't need it to replace it, so I'm just going to uncheck this guy here. Then selected objects only allowed. Then I'm going to say process texture. So we'll just give that a few minutes to process this to do the process, and then we'll continue in this. I would like to take you guys through my website. It's just coming up, so don't have said too much. And yeah, it's a collection of some jobs I've done for the past few years, stuff. This is the personal project I'm working on right now. I've not had the time to finish it up. I'm planning on doing the interior renders for it as well. So I just have 2 images from that project, from personal projects done already. So here are some of my works. I really hope they look good, at least a bit. Yeah, this was a personal project as well. I've always wanted to do a bit scene. I remember I started this project, was it not about 4 years ago. I worked on it a bit, I got stuck, and so I just left it and didn't touch it. I took it up, I think, yeah, this year I took it up again this year, and I've been able to complete it. Now this sea foams you guys are seeing right there, I had to be clever about it. They are just planes with foam texture, sea foam texture mapped on it. Yet I had to just work with it in a clever way, because it's going to take a toll on my laptop if I were to use for any CFD to simulate sea foam. Project I worked, then this was personal project as well, both house. It's an existing, like the building has been built, so I just wanted to make it, like I fell in love with the images of the building, and I just wanted to make my own renders. So this is what I came up with. And this guy right here, I'm going to show you one thing I'm proud of. I think this was the first project I used to test out render farms. So I submitted this project to Purpose Farm at Wanted, and I think for that month, yeah, they selected my work as at Wanted, like a fixture project and stuff. And if there's one thing I'm proud of, okay, this guy, I'm going to show you something now. There's something I'm proud of, is the fact that if you have Rebels Farm, if you have the Rebels Farm plugin in your for your 3ds file, you use the Rebels Farm and you have the plugin, and you go to the Rebels Farm setup. Now I don't know if this thing works by region or whatnot, but then I have my work featured in the plugin right there. Look, man, yeah. Anytime I'm working, and then I see that, it just gives me this joy. It's more like, okay, your work being recognized. I mean, it's so nice. So yeah, our asphalt is done texturing. So let's have it excluded as well, and let's see how everything looks like, or let's see what everything looks like together. We are getting closer to finishing this project, guys. Honestly, we're getting closer. By next week, on the next live stream, I'm going to be finishing the texturing for the main building, with the parking lots. Texture that, then texture the auxiliary building, the building attached to it. And for that building, I'm going to be using some tweaks. I want to make it look like a supermarket without actually populating the interior of that building. What I'm going to be using is getting pictures of shopping malls, applying them to a plane, and then using that plane as a corner light material, so that it's, in a way, by the time I arrange it in the building, it's going to look like a shopping mall from the outside, even though there's nothing showing inside. I'm really excited on that, guys. It's a technique I've been looking to try out, so you guys should look forward to that. This guy just needs time to get started on the rendering, so I'm just going to, this work. I did this project on one of my very old PC. Definitely not the best look. Yeah, this vehicle is floating. I don't know if it's exactly floating. Okay. But then I could say this project helped me understand Forest Park a bit more. I wanted to create this part that looks like, okay, the vehicle just passed on it and stuff. Probably if I'm doing this project again, I'll do it better. How it would look better, like what I just did right here would look better. But then I also had to do what we say Jomo, just to get this. And yeah, it's not realistic, it's not all that, but then I'm proud of it. It helped me a lot. I learned a lot using this project. And this was for a friend for his master's thesis. It's an automat, and I had fun with it. There are other views as well, but then I'm not showing all the views on my website here. Personal project as well. With personal projects, I learn a lot, so that's why you see mostly the images you see on my website are personal projects. I learned a lot of Forest Park on this too. The way I was able to scatter these dead leaves in such a way that you will find them scanty on areas where vehicles usually pass, and then you have them more the side and the middle where you won't have so much of the vehicles passing through there. So I had fun with this project as well. Okay, I think our guys, I already added this guy. I excluded it already. Why is this still showing us white? It's showing us white. What is happening? It could be happening. Anything that need to accept them. Like, let me start again. I'm a bit confused now. Yeah. want to get a closer look. Oh, we have the texture showing the right way. I think the whites we are seeing there. Whites from the cup. And that's what we are seeing there. If that's the case, let's apply concrete material to the cups. Like this. Only less big block. These models are so large that it's happening here. Good work. I don't like what I'm saying. Just use something without lines. Just use something big. Sidewalk tiles. Good concrete. This should work. Why is it that when I place this, it just places rumors? Okay. I still need it to be smaller. Yep. Yep. That is better. that is styled better. Let's exclude this as well. Okay. For the road. I think I'll just find the text for the base of these buildings. We just use that same template I used there. I don't need it to be so much. That's one of the right stuff. Let's make it bigger. Minor draft, and then yeah, after checking the progress, we can probably call it a day for today's stream. Okay. I think in the way I can see I'm getting closer to achieving the vision I have for this project. On the next live soon, we'll do the remaining of the texture this area, then get to the grass texture as well, so I can make it perfect. I don't know. Let's save it. Let me draw something now. While going to a website one day like that, I came across this grass distribution. Now look at how interesting this is. That's something, maybe add a little bit of work somewhere, have some tall grasses just to make it a bit more interesting. So we'll be calling it a day for today's live stream. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for coming on the live stream to see me work on this project, and I really hope you guys were able to learn a trick or two for your project, and we will be seeing one day. Thanks, guys. Bye.